I never thought I would say this, but I guess I officially work for myself. I have had plenty of jobs. You know, I've worked in warehouses, I've worked as a town planner, I've worked as a high school teacher, I've done casual teaching, full-time teaching, worked as a cultural liaison officer. I have had a lot of careers, and this year I'm choosing myself. This is why I'm deciding to leave my teaching career to pursue the life that I actually want and the life that I dream of, but also to prioritize my mental health. If you've ever felt stuck or unsure, I hope this video helps you as well. So basically, I did what everyone is supposed to do when they finish school and they go to uni straight away, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I started a Bachelor of Science, loved it. I was so passionate about the environment. Basically, I majored in marine biology and environmental science, and then in my third year I changed into a double degree of a Bachelor of Science and a Bachelor of Urban and Environmental Town Planning. Now, I absolutely loved this degree. I just learnt so much. I found it so inspiring. I was so passionate about what I was studying, and it was all about sustainability and how to make cities more sustainable and how you can improve people's mental health by, you know, affordable housing and access to all the amenities that they need, and how a city with an aging population has different needs to a city with a young population, and how to basically accommodate for all those needs. And I absolutely loved it. We learned so much. I made the absolute greatest friends in the whole world at uni, and I'm still so close to them now, even though I live in a different city. But yeah, I feel like I did all the things that I was supposed to do. I basically studied for, I think it was 6 or 7 years, 6.5 years I think I ended up being at uni for. And then I got a job as a town planner in a private firm, and I worked there for maybe, I'm gonna say, 1.5 years, and then COVID happened. So during my time working as a town planner, I will say I didn't like it. I absolutely hated it. I had a practicum, which is like work experience in council, and I got to do a bit with the environmental scientist team, and while everyone on that team was incredible, they had so much knowledge, to the point where I remember going on site and they could like literally identify the different species of trees, and I was like, whoa, nerding out. That's so cool. I wish I could do that, and you know, maybe one day I could have. For me, it felt really disheartening. Like, what was the point of this role if it wasn't making any difference and it wasn't actually having any impact? And then I worked in a private firm. It was a very small firm, and I just felt so small. Like, I never got any positive feedback, only negative, even though I was doing a really good job. And I'd also never done this role before. So there was a lot of times where I didn't feel very supported, but I did learn a lot. And then as soon as COVID happened, I basically lost my job, and that was really hard. I wasn't expecting it, and I guess it was a bit of an unknown time for everybody. Nobody really knew what they were doing or what to expect from what was happening. But in that time, I used it to reflect and be like, okay, well, I actually don't really like this role and I don't like this job. So how can I use my passions elsewhere? And initially I was like, oh, I really want to work in media or like journalism because I love writing, and then I can write about things that I'm passionate about. Or I could be a teacher and I could teach the things that I'm passionate about and inspire the next generation, because I'm also really passionate about mental health. I can kind of use those experiences to help students going through that, and that was something that really drove me. And so I applied to do my master's in teaching and learning, and basically started studying my master's. So yes, I have 3 degrees, which is great and all, but has it really been helpful? Have I just built up a really large HECS debt? Possibly, but that's okay. I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't do all those things, and I'm really proud of where I am today. So started teaching, absolutely loved it. At first I was so afraid because I hate public speaking, and I always got really nervous at school doing public speaking, and even at uni doing speeches I was always like, like I I didn't like being in public speaking. But I think the issue is I don't like reading a speech and being graded on my speech, if that makes sense. But getting up in front of a group of people and talking about things that you know and you're passionate about is so different to reading a speech at school. And I think a lot of us stick with that narrative out in our head that we're really bad at public speaking because we've never actually gotten up and spoken about something that we're passionate about. So the first thing I was really nervous about when I started teaching on my first prac was that, like, what if they ask me a question that I don't know? And my supervising teacher was so lovely, and she was like, well, just say that you don't know. You're a teacher. You are not an encyclopedia. You can't be expected to know everything and remember everything. So just be honest and say that you don't know, and say that you guys can look it up together and figure it out together. And as soon as she said that, I was like, that is so true. I cannot be expected to know everything, and it's so silly of me to think that I should know everything. So after that, I got up and I taught my first lesson, and while I was up there, I was like, yes, this is where I'm meant to be. This is what I'm supposed to be doing, and I just loved it from then on. I remember doing pracs with people and they were so stressed, and they would be like, why are you so calm? Like, you know, I'm freaking out, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, it's okay. I felt so comfortable teaching and I loved it so much. My hair is wet, I'm really sorry. Then I moved to Sydney and I was finishing up my master's, and I got a great job at a school, which I fell in love with even more. I got to do some cultural work within the school, taking care of the Pacifica students who became like my children, and I felt like this 28-year-old mum with 35 big Islander boy children, but they were amazing, and they definitely made my role at that school so much better. I got to learn so much. I got to coach fifths rugby. I got to teach marine studies. I got to form really good connections with the students, and yeah, absolutely loved the role until something happened. And then I basically left at the end of last year, and I had to leave really quickly. It was really hard, like losing that role over something I'm not allowed to speak about, but it was really tough. I felt like I lost my purpose and I lost my identity, and I've had a lot of conversations with like ex-teachers recently who are now content creators, who are doing other things, and really creative people, and you can tell that we all went into teaching for the same reasons. We were so passionate about it. We just genuinely wanted to make a difference, and you know, every one of us has really similar stories about the way that we were treated, and it's really disappointing to see in Australia especially we have such a shortage of teachers. Actually, it's not even Australia, it's like worldwide. We have a shortage of teachers. And to see teachers who are so passionate about what they do be leaving the industry, and they're the ones who, teachers really do shape students and they shape the next generation. The teacher that you had in high school, if you had a teacher that made a really big impact on you, you're gonna remember that teacher for the rest of your life. I know I remember that teacher. Mine was my geography teacher. She just believed in me so much, and I never thought that I was very smart, but I applied myself so much. I tried really hard to keep up with all the smart kids, and I just felt so seen by her, and I still keep in contact with her to this day. She is always, when I think of a great teacher, she is the first person that comes to my head. I will literally remember for the rest of my life. Like, I finished school in 2012, so a long time ago. 13 years ago? Am I bad at maths? No, that's right, 13 years ago. And I still remember them to this day. If I saw them on the street, I would make so much time for them, because they just, oh, I feel emotional. They have just had such a big impact on me and who I am today. So that's why I loved teaching, because I got to be that person for somebody. I got to be that person who believed in people, because I feel like a lot of kids especially don't believe in themselves, and then, you know, that means that they're not performing in the classroom. And then you have teachers who basically just reiterate what the kids already believe in themselves. So, you know, if they're like, oh, you're so lazy, like, why don't you do things? And then the student literally starts to believe that, and then makes it worse for themselves almost. Whereas if you have a teacher that says, no, I believe in you, you can do this, you're not lazy, that makes such a difference in a student's or anybody's brain. If I tell you that you're lazy and I keep telling you that, you're gonna believe it. But if I tell you that, no, actually you're not lazy, okay, you've had a tough time, you haven't had the same cards dealt to you that everybody else has, but it's up to you and you are capable. You just need to start, and let me help you start. That difference alone, I cannot even explain to you the difference that you see in how students behave with you and how much they appreciate you. Anyway, so after I left that school, I started doing casual teaching at another school. Loved it. It's great. But I've also been doing content creation, and I've also been, you know, I started this as a business page, and somehow it's ended up in a different space. This year, I guess, I've done a couple of casual teaching days, but I thought, you know, if I really want to make this something, then I need to be able to invest all my time in it, and I need to be able to put myself first, and I need to be able to give myself the space and the confidence to be able to basically, one, create the life that I want to create, and two, prioritize my mental health. I really struggled after leaving my last job teaching, and it just gave me so much anxiety being a full-time teacher in a school. So every time I applied for jobs, I just couldn't imagine doing that again, because I don't want to go through that same thing again. So it just brought so much anxiety, and I was like, right, okay, well, we don't need a job where we are anxious to go to work, or we're anxious about what we're going to do, or we're anxious about what we're going to post. We need to figure out how we can align what we're passionate about and work. So I've decided to hopefully do content creation full time, but also I have other things that I really want to work on that I'm really passionate about. And I think the thing that I've really had to remind myself is that if I give myself this break now, I might come back into the teaching field later and have my passion back and be really great at what I'm doing. But right now, I can't give that to students, and I don't think that's fair for me to be there in the capacity that I have where I don't want to be there. So it's time for me to hold myself truly accountable. I have made videos on YouTube for the past few months, and I keep saying that I'm going to be consistent, and I keep saying that I'm going to do something about it, and then the time comes and I don't, and I'm not holding myself accountable, and I'm not doing the things that I say I want to do. So this is how I'm going to build my dream life. I have come up with 4 different categories that I wanted to prioritize in my life. So basically my health and fitness goals, because I am so passionate about health and fitness, and also proving that health and fitness doesn't have just one look. Like, I am really fit and I'm really strong, and no, I'm not a size 8 or a size 6, and no, I don't have a 6-pack, but that doesn't define my capabilities. 2, my lifestyle. 3, creativity, and 4 is building my career. Let's talk about each of those goals. I'm gonna put a little thing up here. So first of all, health and fitness. I have just signed up to do Hyrox with Red Bull, which is so exciting. I wanted to do Hyrox for a long time, but I've also been really scared. I really wanted to do it with my partner because I felt like it would be really fun, but he's just not into it at all. And I wanted to do doubles, but I run at a slower pace to other people. Running is not my strength. I am doing a half marathon in 2 weeks' time, but still I'll be running at a slower pace. And I don't want someone to, if they run faster than me, I don't want to feel like they're holding themselves back and they're not getting the time that they could be getting if they were with someone who ran at their speed. So I'm pretty sure I'm doing it solo, which is a bit scary, doing the whole thing by yourself. So this weekend, actually, I'm not sure when I'll upload this video, when I've edited it. This weekend I'm doing Turf Games, which is a team of 4 workout, and In 2 weeks time, I'm running a half marathon with Nike. And then in July, I'm doing my first HYROX. So I really want to, with HYROX, prioritize my training and nutrition. I feel like I've definitely prioritized my running training for the marathon, but I also haven't, in a way. Like I find it really hard fitting in my normal training and adding running to it. So I want to come up with a strategy that will help me. And I think just doing 2 runs a week to train for HYROX will be enough for me, but also doing running in with my other workouts. So I think that will be a great starting place, but I really do want to focus on nutrition, but not get caught up in all the BS that we see, like nutrition. I also want to prioritize a daily walk. So I used to be really good at this, and then for some reason I just found walking so boring. But lately I've been listening to a great podcast called Big Small Talk and a couple of others that have really helped me. And I think the thing with walking is I love going on a walk with somebody, and I hate walking by myself. So I love being on the phone and talking to someone while I walk. Like, it just makes it not so much nicer. But I want to get back into routine of going for a daily walk. I want to start journaling again. I am a big advocate for journaling, but when things in my life seem too complicated, I really shy away from journaling because I feel like it takes so much energy for me to journal, or it means that I actually have to deal with all the things that are going on in my brain. So I think I'd like to avoid them, but that actually doesn't help me. Meal prep, I do that anyway. I think eating out less. So when I get really tired, I don't want to cook at night time. So if I meal prep my dinners as well, then I won't have that excuse and I can eat what's already there. Consistent sleep times and wake up times. This is really important. I have a Whoop, and I've noticed that when I have a consistent wake up time and a consistent bedtime, I recover so much better and I feel so much better during the day. So lately it's been really hard. My partner is on a different work schedule, so he gets home later and then he wants to stay up so he can like unwind and, you know, de-stress after a long day at work, whereas I like to get up early and train. So because of that, I've been getting up later, training later, going to bed later, and I'm not used to that. So I have to come up with my own routine and be okay that like we're on different time schedules. And also I need to prioritize recovery. I feel like I don't really do that. I don't really take time to stretch very often and do any really recovery activities, and I really need to prioritize that. So that is definitely something that I really want to do. I know everyone says like 10 minutes a day stretching. For me, that sounds great. I would love to do that. And I probably can. If I do it after every workout, it makes sense. So I am going to prioritize my recovery because recovery is so important. Okay, let's go on to number 2. Lifestyle. So basically lifestyle for me is about creating the life that I want, creating my dream life, what's important to me basically. So first one, weekly dates. My partner and I go to therapy together, and one thing that she has said is that we need to go on a weekly date. So I feel like sometimes we really prioritize this, and other times we get really busy and we get caught up and we don't. So I think for me, feeling that strength and connection in my relationship makes me excel in other areas of my life. So weekly dates, priority, if you're listening, Zane. Making time to see friends. When I'm really struggling with my mental health, I tend to be that person who goes into hibernation and doesn't talk to anybody. I would like to do at least 1 or 2 social things with my friends a week. It's really nice because I train with a lot of friends, so to me that's a really nice social interaction. I need to go to the ocean once a week. I am a huge water baby. The ocean immediately calms me, and I live quite, I wouldn't say far, but it's not a convenient location to go to the beach. But I know that it helps me so much when I'm by or inside the ocean. So I'm going to prioritize 1 day a week where I go to the ocean for a swim, or I can go swim and journal there and just like almost heal myself and just have that quality time with myself doing something that I love that's free. let go of my limiting beliefs. I'm somebody who gets in my own way. I tell myself I can't do something or I'm not good enough to do something, so I need to let go of that narrative in my head and really challenge those thoughts in my brain, because it's not helping me, it's not serving me. I'm just getting in my own way, basically. Be okay going to things on my own. One thing I will say is, you know, going to the idea of going to a concert by yourself sounds horrible, but it means that I've missed out on going to things. It means that I've missed out on going to things because I didn't have anyone to go with, and I could have just gone and had fun and enjoyed doing what I wanted to do. And then we have creativity. So this kind of creativity feeds into career as well, because I believe that this career is very creative. So I want to post on YouTube once a week, so you got to hold me accountable for that for the rest of the year, at least once a week. And I've said that before and I haven't held myself accountable, but I really need to, and I've allocated time in my calendar to be able to do this, to film and edit once a week. And if I've allocated that time, hopefully that means I use that allocated time for that reason. Try new things. So one of my goals this year was actually to try a new hobby or class once a month, and I've not been to one. I've done none. Mostly because they're expensive and I'm waiting to be paid by a lot of jobs. So my money is just dwindling at the moment and just keeps going down, and I basically don't have very much money. But that's okay. Sorry, I just got a very exciting call. Anyway, making time for myself to paint and be creative. I used to love painting and drawing on my iPad. I'm not very good at it, but I loved doing it. And I think now I just like put something on TV and I just waste my time, and I'm not reading, I'm not doing anything creative, I'm not learning new things. So I really want to prioritize less time watching TV, because like that's not good for my brain, and more time doing things that allow me to be creative. And I feel like the thing about creativity is that if you don't use it, and you try to get back into it, it feels like you're at this like stalemate almost, and it just feels yuck. And then you try to get back into it and you just feel horrible at everything that you do. But the thing is that you need to like push through that pain. I've actually seen this workbook that you can buy, and it's something like little activities that you can do to enhance your creativity in your brain, because I feel like we're not doing it enough. And I never thought of myself as a creative person, but the older I get, I see that my brain works a lot differently to other people's, and I see that I actually am a very creative person. I may not be a great artist or musician, but my brain is still very creative, so I want to be able to use that creativity. Last one on this one, try different styles of videos on my social media account. So the thing for me is I feel really not stuck. I get to do lots of different styles of content, but there are topics that I'm really passionate about that I don't really speak about, and that's one, because I'm scared. But two, I think that there is other ways to do content, and I want to always use my platform to inspire people. I want to always use my voice for a positive reason, and I think that sometimes we get caught up a lot in what's going on, and you know, how many jobs we're getting, or if we're, you know, if our content's doing well, that we kind of lose sight on the things that matter to us. And I feel very proud that I haven't done that yet, but there are still a lot of topics that I would love to talk about, especially politics, policy, mental health. There is just so much in those spaces that I would love to do. So I just want to mix it up, and I want to get better, and I want to improve, because I can do that. I'm very capable. I just get in my own way again. And lastly, building my career. Oh, the last one. So I'm planning a very special project that I don't know if I want to speak about too much yet, but I'm working really hard to plan it and have it be as best as I can for you guys, because I think it's something really valuable, and I think that's it's a very oversaturated market right now, but I think that there's still a lack of something. We still have something missing in these spaces. I'm working on it. Okay, I really want to be consistent in my posting. I'm very bad at doing that. I'm great on Instagram. The other platforms, not so great. I am currently working on a body confidence workshop to run in schools because that, again, is something I'm incredibly passionate about. I think that body image is something that's not spoken about too much, but it is 100% the biggest issue affecting young women today. You know, you have to remember that your size and your body is not a trend, and right now being skinny is trendy again, and it's really disappointing. You know, we came a long way, and recently I literally had 2 different comments on one of my posts. One basically said, she literally looks huge in every photo. Lovely, thank you. And then the other one was like, oh, but you're curvy and everybody wants your body, so thanks for doing nothing. And I just thought it was really funny because on one case I'm too big, and on the other hand I am just the body that everybody wants, which is not true. And I'm doing nothing. So I either am too big or I have the perfect body. Do you know what I mean? Like, you just can't win. And I think that young women are growing up in this age where they have to constantly be something, and we're always being criticized about the way that we look. And eating disorders have increased by so much. They haven't decreased, they've increased, which is due to social media. And I think having someone who works in social media give a workshop to young women is so impactful, because this is someone that maybe you don't follow and maybe you don't idolize them, but somebody who works in the same industry that you do idolize, if that makes sense. And yeah, so I'm currently designing this program, and I want to push it out to schools, especially all girls schools, even co-ed schools, but specifically run this program for the girls, young girls in high school, even in university. And I just need to stop getting in my own way, stop wasting my time, and actually live the life that I want to live, because I'm not doing that right now. I'm just literally holding myself back. I really am holding myself back, and I need to stop doing that. So if you're feeling stuck, just start. I think this breaking my little goals down into 4 different categories was really helpful, and I did that for my goals at the start of the year as well. But I just want to remind you that you don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to have it all figured out right now. You don't need to know what you want to do right now. Look how much my journey has changed over the past 10 years. Like, I've gone from, oh, washing is done. I've gone from such different careers, and I've loved every one of them. I mean, except town planning. I didn't love the job, but I loved what I studied. I love the degree. Yeah, you don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to have all the answers. Your journey can change and evolve as you change and grow and evolve, and that's a beautiful thing about life. So this is just me holding myself accountable. Yeah, I'd love to know if there's something that you want to change in your life. What's one step that you're going to take to change your life? Comment below if you've ever considered thinking about, that doesn't even, if you're considering making a big life change. But yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe and follow along in my journey, and I'll see you guys next week.